Yeah, what a boring game. What a boring 3-0 win. This is exactly what Chiefs has needed. What I've liked about the past few games has been that the games were uneventful. You know, Chiefs matches either go completely one way, it's completely all the way bad, Sundowns are completely all the way good. There's never really a middle ground. And when you look at Chiefs this season up to this point, it's been because of this, you know, one day you're up, one day you're down, and now you're looking at things like the goal difference, and the goal difference, you scored only one more goal than you've conceded, you know, historical numbers both ways. But the past few games have been boring. And we've won. You see, today, we kept a clean sheet. Coming into this game, I was wondering, Ditlhokwe is about to leave. Our defenses looked so solid with Ditlhokwe there. I was thinking to myself, Mart is not available, Mteto is not available. What's going to happen to a midfield that has Cele and Zwane? And when Zwane got that yellow card in the first 5 minutes, I thought to myself, ooh, it's going to be one of those days. But what is interesting about this game is that you got to see the different parts of how Kaizer Chiefs has improved under Coach Nabi without the pressure of the weaknesses being exposed. So if you look at how we were playing, yes, we didn't have a CDM. But in that position, it allowed Cele to become a really, really, really good deep-lying playmaker. It allowed Chiefs to have a little bit of control down there. And when you add that to having Sirino up front, who wasn't as effective as he normally is in terms of finding those chances, but we got to control the game. And I think Chippa may have made a mistake by not having Jali start this game, but you could see a little bit of what Chiefs could be. So in the first part of the game, I'd say the first 10 to 15 minutes was very high tempo. We were back to playing the game that Chiefs played at the beginning of the season, where they were coming out and they were trying to overwhelm the other side. Attack after attack, wave after wave. At some points, we had up to 7 people committed into the attack. And it was just, you know, trying to just get that early goal, get the early 2 goals, and then know that when you're going to suffer later on, you're going to suffer knowing that you've got a little bit of a lead. That was what Coach Nabi and his team were doing earlier in the season. Then there came a time where we were a little bit quiet. They weren't playing as well. But I think where Coach September, Coach Mamila have to take responsibility here is that this is not a Chippa United that has direction. This Chippa United was all over the place because the weaknesses were there. If you think about the number of times Philander on the left-hand side, more specifically, was finding room and going at our defense. If you could see the times that Kwaiba maybe should have taken a shot, even if it's just an early shot to try and get the keeper, catch the keeper off guard. That's what you need to do, but they were trying to run the ball in. But they didn't do that enough times. And that's why Frosler looked great in this game, because he wasn't pushed. That's why on the right-hand side, on the right-hand side of Chippa's attack, the left-hand side of Chiefs' defense, you didn't see too much happening. And I think Evanga, in his one approach to the game, in his one approach to try play this game, made it so easy for Miguel and Dortley to close in. There were still the problems that Chiefs has. You know, we still commit too many players forward, and that means that there's spaces that open up on the sides, in behind. You still find Miguel and Dortley pushing up and trying to catch people off, or trying to catch the danger first. and that destabilizes the structure of the defense. You still had a very high line that Chippa did not take advantage of with their 3 attacking players. Okay, so I know I stopped the video a lot, and a lot of you are wondering, why are you asking for money? So I wanted to show you. I asked for money because I want to do more of this. Huh? But the truth of the matter is that it took over an hour in order just to render that shot. And it takes even longer when I'm doing my normal content because, guys, here's the unsung hero of the channel. And unfortunately, Shem, but the screen is broken. I have to use a second screen and the performance is not up to it. So I'd really love to upgrade things like that. And when you look over here, this is what the setup looks like. Rehenga di patlo and rehenga di green screen, which is a reality of being a South African content creator. Also, this is what people think is my studio. It's actually my house. So if you still don't know that I'm doing all of this from my home, then I don't know. But that is essentially what I want to do. More of these cool things. But I need you guys to please help me out by donating 50 Rand or more into this account. You know, we're fighting for multi-choice. And for multi-choice, but there are subscription models all over the place. And I'd love to give the biggest quality while also being able to pay my rent and do things like that. That is where your money is going. And I promise to give you only the best content that I can if you do throw something in. So I just wanted to show you guys what I want to do with your money. I want to take this South African football and fulfill my dream of taking it into the future. But thank you guys so much. Remember, this is the bank account that you deposit into. Get back into the video. But you can only play what's in front of you. And I think Chiefs played this game incredibly well. Wonderful goals from Sirino. Wonderful goals that came afterwards. Obviously, there was a penalty. And then Modi finally. Oh, Modi. Oh, Modi. I want to take a second on Modi. Pule Modi is not a winger. Pule Modi is a forward. Pule Modi is uncomfortable when he has to find the byline on the side. Pule Modi has a signature shot where he cuts inside and right by the D, he takes a shot in line with the side of the D on top of the box. He loves that move. So when he plays as a pure winger, you lose him for the whole game. He needs to work on his finishing because he got a couple of chances, and there was one in particular that looked a lot like the Pirates' chance that he missed. The first few minutes of the derby, there was a chance he got where he was running inside, and instead of taking the shot, he decided to carry on running and run it out. They showed Bobby also showing the same sentiment. He needs to become better because there's room for Shabalala to come back into that team. The energy that he brings, how he combines with Sirino, how they understand each other is great. I think Morris gives us a focal point up top, which is good. He started drifting back inside and trying to collect the ball, and I think that's where he loses it because his job is to keep those defenders aware and busy. He doesn't need to score. But because he's there, it gives tons of space. The Sirino goal comes from the space that was afforded to Chiefs just in front of the defense. Even when they're defending that set piece just in front there, they were all watching Morris. Lodili Lepo faded a bit towards the end of the game, but he's also a player that gives you a lot more. I've said about Chiefs that they're very good players, Mara. They can't think abafihla kwakopili. When they get kwakopili, they just go off and they go off script, which I think is part of what Nebi wants them to do. But it's also one of the reasons why they lose the ball a lot. If you saw him do had a bunch of opportunities where he went through after coming on and he was giving away the ball because he was making the wrong decision. This is where Sirino becomes very important. And Ulilepo gives you a measure of control. You see how Modi runs a ball out. You see how Seile used to run balls out. Ulilepo has the ability to hold the ball and play the ball, to hold the ball and turn around, to hold the ball and find a midfielder. How many times did he find Sirino in a place where Sirino didn't have to run in a transition to get the ball? I have to shout out Ucele again. because defensively, he's not going to give us that much. Defensively, on another day, if we had a team that was attacking, especially down the middle, we were going to be found wanting. A lot of the times when Chippa got to the front, they were making the wrong decisions. There's going to be days where those teams are going to make the right decisions. But what it gives us is something we have asked for over and over and over again. A player who can receive the ball, turn, and make a pass. So it's going to be interesting who he's paired with, because I still feel like you need the defensive abilities of Umthetwa and the discipline, and maybe even Umthetwa having a partner next to him who can play the ball nyana would be great. What I'm scared of is that he might become another Castillo. If you remember in Castillo, right, at Kaizer Chiefs, he used to hold that 6 and he never used to lose the ball and he used to pass the ball. I think going forward, you might lose that when the other players come back in. I would still love to see a midfield of Cele with Mthetwa and Sirino in front of him, or Cele next to Matlou with Sirino. I'd love to see those type of dynamics, but it's clear that we don't have a defensive midfielder, but we have a deep-lying playmaker. So if you think of a team like AC Milan, was it AC Milan? When AC Milan Juventus, when Andrea Pirlo was playing, when he created the register, when he was playing as a deep-lying playmaker, they used to have, I think it was Seedorf and Gattuso next to him to cover him. That's what we're going to need if we're going to use Cele in that role. But I do love the fact that now we have a direct line between the defense, Cele, Sirino. I love the fact that when we go wide, we've now got somebody who can control the ball and come back in. But more than anything, I can tell you that this game was not won because of Chiefs' brilliance. I think Chippa did not arrive. And maybe you need to ask the question of how important was Kwanele Kopo to this team? Because Chippa has been, in the games that I've watched of Chippa, including the ones late last season, Chippa is a controlling team. They play the ball. They love to hold the ball. And this one was a lot more defensive. This one did not have a connection between the midfield and the forwards. And it didn't look like they had a plan of what they wanted to do to Chiefs. It was so interesting to watch this game because while you might think that, okay, if you don't have a connection between your front and your midfield, surely then it means that your midfield is sitting in a mid-block or low block. But when Chiefs was attacking, the midfield was also behind up to when Ujali came in. And while Jali won some balls, it wasn't enough for that game. So I think losing out on Kwanele Kopo is going to be one of the big mistakes that were done by Chippa Mpengesi. And you can tell the disorganization there. So I'm not going to say that Chiefs played incredibly to the point where, I think Chippa had a big role to play in this. And going forward, they're going to have to figure out, because I think they have the raw materials. Evan Guy is a great center forward player in terms of his size, his ability to hold up the ball. Philander can come in on the side and give them something, but they need to learn how to use them properly and give them a proper plan. I'm still not 100% with Coach Nebi's subs. I think if there's two weaknesses that Coach Nebi has, is the defensive setup and also his substitutions. Sometimes he just lets players come on for the sake of coming on. And I think what would have been great at the end of the second half was to keep Sirino on the pitch and to control the ball then, and to play the ball, and to have Abu Shabalala, Nabo Vilagazi, Balbambe, while still having the presence of Sirino to control the flow of the game. Cross still needs a lot of work, but I'm going to give the defense credit. Today, outside of a few times, they were defensively solid. They didn't go up too much. Frosler did, but Mashiane balanced it very well, and Cross balanced it very well when he came in. So we weren't left bare. There's a lot of 1v1 defending with the Kaizer Chiefs. And I think that's sometimes one of our issues. But having a team be able to know now that, okay, Cele's not defensively sound. Let's sit back and stay disciplined. So all in all, boring 3-0 win. Needed 3-0 win. Progression in the Nedbank Cup, which is something that we've been crying about. Maybe now there might be an opportunity for us to go a little bit further, but I still believe you have to take it one game at a time. I believe it's 2 wins on the trot and two clean sheets on the trot. Yeah, 2 clean sheets on the trot. So that's good to build momentum. And I think Abucele are going to grow in confidence and stature. But yeah, Chippa was the worst in this game. And yeah, I think we can take it from there and go forward. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll see you on the next one.